Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Or if it's your first time, welcome to my channel. My name is Marlene and I talk about eating disorder recovery and everything related to healing the relationship with your own body, with food and with movement. Let's dive right into the topic as we always do. Today we're going to talk about cutting the mental connection between food and the body. It's quite interesting. A lot of people have certain safe foods and they also have fear foods. Once they start to challenge their fear foods in recovery, it can feel like the body is changing immediately. It's a mental phenomenon that I see in a lot of my clients and also like a lot of other people I talk to who have been in recovery. As long as we stick to safe foods, we don't focus too much on the body. But as soon as we start to challenge our fear foods or also to eat more, it can instantly feel like the body changes, even though body changes cannot even happen so quick. And also, if you eat a little bit more for a certain amount of time, you will not instantly have a completely different body. But especially when we are in certain situations where there's more food around, or also when our extreme hunger is striking, we feel like our body instantly changes. So it can be super helpful to start to cut the mental connection between food and the body, so that you can feel like you can still continue with your recovery without hyper focusing on the body. Because what happens is that you taught yourself subconsciously with your eating disorder that everything that you put in your body, everything you eat will have an instant impact on your body. Or also if you only eat safe foods or if you don't eat enough, it will also have an instant impact on your body. And you also taught your brain that a positive impact means to lose weight and a negative impact means to gain weight. So in order to challenge all those rules, all those thoughts, and also to cut this mental connection, it can be super important to remind yourself that your body is not a machine. Weight fluctuations happen. I really hope that if you're in recovery that you're not weighing yourself, that you do not know your weight, because it can even make a big difference if you drank more water the day before or if you ate a little bit more food in terms of volume. So our weights will fluctuate. There's a bunch of reasons for that, and it does not mean that you gained a bunch of weight, but that's why it can be so important to stop weighing yourself, especially in eating disorder recovery. And honestly, I personally don't even need to know my weight because I feel like I would rather concentrate on how I feel in my body than to stick to a number that I know will change eventually anyway. Especially when you feel like you've eaten more or you challenge more of your fear foods, your brain will have an instant thought of this will have an impact on my body. As I said before, the reason for that is that you taught yourself for so long to avoid certain foods. And so the longer we avoid foods, or also the longer we avoid a certain amount of food, some people don't completely avoid foods, but they only allow themselves a teeny tiny bit. So the longer we do that, the more our brain will learn that this is dangerous, because our brain does not understand diet or diet culture. So our brain will think, if I am not eating that food, it is either not available, so there's a famine going on, or it is dangerous to me. So once you start to expose yourself to it, chances are that your body will crave way more of it, but also that your brain will feel bad afterwards because it feels like you've done something bad for the body, because the brain thinks literally it's toxic or it's bad for you because you avoided it for so long. That can lead to the fact that you see your body different, because your brain is releasing stress hormones after you challenge that food because it thinks that it's bad for you. It releases stress hormones, and studies have shown that we see ourselves different when we are under stress. Maybe you know that feeling. One day you look in the mirror and you're actually okay with what you see, and then the next day you feel completely horrible. It's not always the case, but oftentimes those are the days that we're already having low energy. Maybe we didn't sleep well, maybe something else happened before. And so it completely changes the way we see ourselves, even though our bodies didn't change. So step number one is actually to remind yourself of that and to learn about the science of the brain and of eating disorders and of recovery. Step number two is to understand that if your body is craving certain things, if your body is more hungry, then it probably needs the energy. We underestimate how much energy the body needs because oftentimes, especially with eating disorders, we think that we can only eat something if we moved and that the only way to burn energy is to move. Of course, the goal is never to burn energy because actually It's the other way around. The goal is to get energy in because the body needs the energy. But in eating disorders, it's oftentimes the other way around. The goal is to burn off the energy. And so a lot of people actually think that burning off energy means to move the body. But if you are stressed, if you're in a new environment, if something changes, if a situation changes, all those things need a lot of energy because your brain is comfortable without changes. This is why it feels so hard to actually make changes. The brain needs energy to learn something new, to be in a new environment, to be exposed to new things. That all needs energy. So chances are that if you, for instance, go to a new school, start a new job, if you're traveling, if you're moving, whatever it is, even if you're just like trying out a new restaurant, those things require energy. And we really underestimate how much energy our brain needs. On top of that, of course, all of our organs need a lot of energy too. Understanding the functionality of the body can be a key in recovery because it does help you to understand that your body literally needs so much food, not only in recovery to make up for all the food that it didn't have and to repair everything, but also afterwards. If I would still focus on calories, I would probably be so hyper-focused on food and therewith also be so hyper-focused on my body again, that chances would be that I would see myself completely different than I see myself now. But because I was able to heal my relationship with my body and also with food, I'm actually not concentrating on that anymore. And so for me, it became very easy to listen to my hunger cues and to understand I don't always have to have a reason to be hungry. On some days I'm way more hungry, even though I might have not moved around a lot. But I started to accept that I need to trust my body. So starting to trust your body and starting to trust your intuitive wisdom and your intuition is so important. And the reason why that can be so hard is because for so long you tried to control everything. You tried to not to listen to your hunger cues or to maybe like drink a lot of water or do whatever you did in order to not feel the hunger instead of listening to it. Your body also started to not trust you anymore because it was like, why would I trust somebody who doesn't give me what I need, who doesn't give me what I'm asking for? So in recovery, you actually need a leap of faith. You need a leap of faith in terms of starting to trust your body again until your body trusts you enough as well. Another thing that is super, super important to cut the mental connection between food and the body is also not making up for any food. So what I mean by that is if you feel like you ate quote unquote too much or you challenged your fear foods and you begin to feel bad, the worst thing you could do is to exercise, to try to make up for it. Because that shows your body and it shows your brain again that it is dangerous to challenge your fear foods, that you have to work out in order to eat or you have to work out after eating. And that will also create a bigger focus on your body again. And it can lead to what I explained earlier, to a different perception of yourself. You might see yourself different if you do not work out, and that's not because you actually look different, but it is because your brain learned that you have to work out after eating, and so if you don't do it, it perceives it as dangerous. I really hope those tips help you guys. Let me know in the comments if you have other questions. I'm gonna do another Q&A very soon, so let me know all your questions. Also, we are currently asking for topic requests and also for more questions for our podcast, All Shape No Sizes. So if you have not listened to it, feel free to do so. And I'm very happy for all your suggestions because we're going to cover them in the podcast. My amazing co-host Emily will also be on my YouTube channel very soon. She has recovered from an eating disorder herself. She's a former athlete and she specializes in former athletes that are in recovery from an eating disorder. So that is going to be super, super interesting. Let me know all your questions, and otherwise I will see you in the next one.